afternoon, Rotarians. Welcome to the August 17th, 2020 Valparaiso Rotary Club meeting, where we grow diverse leaders for local service and global impact through meaningful and dynamic connections. Did you know that there are now 7 areas of focus for Rotary? They are promoting peace, water, sanitation and hygiene, literacy and education, saving mother, children and infants, fighting disease, building economies, and environment, which is new this year. I would like to thank Eric Evans and Andy Motes for being our greeters today, Bruce Lindner as our welcomer, and Mary Jo Jamie for our PR and social media. Rick Urschel is going to sing the national anthem for us. Then we will follow with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Diane Joytner with our invocation, and Andy Motes with the introduction of any visiting Rotarians and guests.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This morning, at the start of a new school year for many of our children and grandchildren, I have a prayer for children. As they start nursery or school the first time, give them joy in new experiences. As they move to new classes, give them confidence in growing friendships. And as they move to new schools, give them strength in their growing independence. As they move on to college or university, give them wisdom in their maturity. And for all the teachers, assistants, helpers, carers, and volunteers who teach and nurture our children and young people, we ask for your blessing, your joy, your wisdom, your patience, and especially now, your blessing of health as they recharge their batteries over the summer and ready for the new term. In my name, amen.
All right, Andrew Lucas, Sergeant at Arms.
Yay! The crowd goes wild.
All right. So, what's the etiquette on good news? How are we doing this? Am I supposed to walk around or just yell it? Just okay. I'll start with good news. So the kids are back in school. That's good news. Hopefully my kitchen can stay clean for more than a day. My daughter learned the joy of cooking this summer, and she did not learn the joy of cleaning up after herself. And my son got his plastic bubble from Valpo High. Anybody got kids with these? A little plastic shield they carry it around, and he promptly forgot it on the very first day he was supposed to take it to school. That's my good news. Kids are back in school. Anybody else got good news? Yes.
My oldest granddaughter has been battling leukemia for the last 6 months out in Seattle, and she is through this final phases of the cure, and she was allowed to go home, and she's in a very good position at this point in time, so it's really a great feeling.
That's awesome.
After 6 months in Seattle Hospital.
How old is she?
She's 16.
16.
She's a senior and was on schedule to be valedictorian, graduating accelerated class. She's volleyball player, just a beautiful, smart kid. But family's going through it really nice. The two younger siblings are doing well. It's kind of hard for me to visit being in Seattle. So a very good blessing for us. The news I got from my son.
Awesome.
All right, thank you. That's the luck to her. Looking at Deb makes me think of something. Goat, so thank you very much. I will bring him to a meeting and he can thank you in person.
The goat?
The goat? No, my son. I was thinking about bringing the goat too. We're going to process it up. I'll bring it, and anybody that wants to try goat can. So yeah, we'll be bringing the goat at some point. It won't be thank you. Okay, anybody else got something? Yes, Dan.
I was just going to say, having been, so I'm celebrating 5 years in print with North Valpo News, which surprised me that I didn't get out. Well, anyway, so thanks for all support.
Thank you. Anybody else? Good news, good news, good news. All right, so with the kids going back to school, that reminded me of something. I was waxing nostalgic. It's been 15 years since I got out of the TV news business and went back to law school at Valpo. So if you don't know, I've spent 10 years as a TV news reporter, last 5 of which I spent in New Orleans. And so for Sergeant, I thought I would share my top favorite things about TV news that you will not hear said on the TV news.
Yes.
QFT, anybody? QFT, quality FaceTime, when the more narcissistic reporters would get plenty of FaceTime on camera. That was a lot of QFT, a quality FaceTime for you. This is an easy one. MCU, medium close-up, sitting at the desk from about here to here. That's a medium close-up. Something I heard a lot, we're bumping you to the B block. What does that mean? Anybody? Means you screwed up and your story wasn't done by 5:01 and they're gonna have to run it in the B block. That's when some producer's pulling her hair out in the control room and you're standing there and you have no control at this point, just smiling, waiting for your story to get done. HRM. You're gonna see a theme in these. HRM. Hot rolling mess. That's when the show is not going right, and you just keep going, and it's only a half hour. It'll be over soon. And then, of course, the two, they're kind of synonymous. Coming in hot and foam the runway. Those are the two terms every producer hated to hear because that meant, see, the way it worked, I wrote my story, I handed it off to the photographer who was editing, and he's sitting at a computer with a mic to the producer, and that's what he would scream at 30 seconds till the show started when he wasn't done. Coming in hot, foam the runway, it's going to be a mess. So, my favorite sayings from TV that you will not hear on TV. So, thanks.
Thank you, Andrew. Right, I would like to take this time to ask Doug Mock to come up. We would like to present him with a Paul Harris Fellow +2. As we know, the Paul Harris Fellow Awards acknowledge individuals who contribute or have contributed more than $1,000 in their name to the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary established this recognition in 1957 to encourage and show appreciation for substantial contributions. So thank you to Doug for his continued support and commitment to Rotary. There are a few others that we did present this award to. One is Larry Holt. He is a Paul Harris +1. Terry Kimmel, a +4, and Gus Olympidis, a +3. Just wanted to acknowledge them even though they are not here. I have a few announcements. The first is concerning our golf outing on September 10th. Would you want to say anything?
Yeah, registrations, even if you don't have payment, please get them in by the end of the week. We're low on numbers again, some of that to be understood, but usually we have a great push at the very end where everybody gets in their registration, so hope that's the case. this year so that we can have another successful outing. We really probably need to about double our number of foursomes we have now. We only have about 7, 8 foursomes. Ideally, at least 16 is where we'd like to be. So if you're considering playing, even if you can't put together an entire foursome and one plays a single, we'll pair you up with a group. And then also, like I said, if payment's not going to be in right away, go ahead and just give me that information and we'll get you on the list. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. And I believe there are pledge sheets on your tables again today for the Valparaiso Rotary Centennial Project. Please remember the pledge sheets are due by the end of the year, and your pledged money is due by the end of next year, 2021. With that, we also found out that we did receive our district grant of $3,000, and that will be used towards the Rotary Memorial Reading Corner in the library reading club.
Awesome.
I did also want to ask for your prayers and your thoughts for 2 of our Rotarians. Linda Popovich, as most of you know, is in the ICU with COVID, and there is not much of a change. There's not really any improvement, but yet she hasn't gotten any worse either, so please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. We also would like to keep the Seibert family in our thoughts and prayers as Ren has entered hospice. So, if I could now ask Jane Simsack to come up and introduce our speaker today.
Hi, everybody. I want to thank Dr. Buck for speaking today. He spoke a few years ago, and it was really, really interesting. So today, we have our own Dr. Scott Buck, who graduated from Valparaiso High School, Indiana University Bloomington, Indiana University Medical School, and completed his ophthalmic surgical residency at Ohio State. He returned home in 2001 to expand his father's ophthalmic practice and formed Northwest Indiana Eye and Laser Center. They do full service eye care, including routine exams, medical, surgical care, and refractive eye care surgery, along with an expanding cosmetic surgical offering. Doctor has been in Rotary since 2003 and lives in Miller with his wife Jennifer. So welcome, Dr. Buck.
I think it's been about 6 or 7 years since the last time I saw those. And I believe I got some negative feedback at that talk because things were a touch graphic. People don't like to eat lunch and then see blood, so I'm going to try to leave the graphics a little more let's start with the boring stuff. I kind of went over this last time, but you weren't there anymore. So. Okay, your eyeball, it's like a camera. You have lenses in front, you have film in the back of your retina. So the light comes through your cornea, comes through your little lens, a little better schematic, and focuses back here on your camera film. Your lens here is tethered to these little tiny fibers that cause it to move and contract. So this is your auto zoom, all right? So when you bring things up close, we can still see them because that lens is moving and zooming in for us. People who don't wear glasses are looking at the distance vision, and this lens is completely relaxed, and so their focus is right on their camera film. These are called emmetropic people. They're lucky they don't have glasses until they get old and have readers. Nearsighted people, their lens system's too strong and it focuses up here, so they can bring things up close and see it, but they can't see distance. Farsighted people focus too far back here, and on these folks, their lens can actually work for them, contract a little bit so that they can see distance, and sometimes near, but as they get older, the near starts to go, and everything starts to go, and then they become miserable people because they can't see anything. So, presbyopia, presbyopia is where this lens fails, and that happens to everybody. I don't see anybody in this room, maybe a few of you, who don't have this. dysfunctional lens syndrome. So the auto zoom stops working, and then it just sits there and starts yellowing over time. So 15-year-old, see that little yellow? People come in and go, oh, I have cataracts? Yeah, you've had them forever. Your lens just gradually yellows over time, and then somewhere in this area it's cloudy to the point where light can't get through, and your vision's bad enough, insurance says, go ahead, it's bad enough, take it out. And you, quote, now have a cataract. So that's what it looks like. So what do? Well, we take this little knife, we make a small incision inside of the eye. Again, try to keep it lunch friendly. And then we take this implant and we slip it in there, and we take your lens out of this capsule that we leave behind. It's pretty handy dandy. And this guy just slides right in there, sorry for the blood, unfolds, and sits right there in place. Takes about 10 minutes. And this is nothing new. This is nothing exciting. This is just normal cataract surgery. We can measure the eye so that the implant we pick it corrects your vision. So we can customize it for you so that your distance vision can be corrected. Now we have lenses to correct your astigmatism and all this other stuff. But now, we have this guy right here. For about 10 years, we've had these implants that also correct your up close and your reading. And the new one that came out in November, it's called the PanOptix, gets you distance, mid, near, pretty much correct the whole darn thing with pretty nice optics, while at the same time correcting for astigmatism and everything. So this is, we've seen a kind of a plateau now with technology. We're in a really good spot where we have a lot of great options, and we're able to really alleviate people's need for eyeglasses if that's what they want. So, skip that. So, LASIK, everybody thinks, oh, I want to correct my vision, I get LASIK. With LASIK, we do the treatment on the cornea. The laser reshapes the cornea right here. What I've been talking to at this point is we've been just replacing this guy. So is LASIK going anywhere? No. LASIK's great for young people. LASIK's great for people who've had cataract surgery and still have some leftover prescription and don't want to see without their glasses. We can tweak things and fine tune it to the nth degree with LASIK. So we're still doing a lot of this. Let's go back to this slide. So people will come in right around here or so, right about my age a little bit, and I might see a little bit of a cataract, and I might say, well, LASIK might not be the best thing for you, but now we have these great offerings, and we're starting to do these lens replacement surgeries, self-pay, non-insurance, elective, and people say, well, isn't that dangerous to do in the eye surgery electively? We've been doing this for 20 years now, electively, to correct vision. And now that we have all these fancy implants out, this is starting to really take off. Risks, right? Everything's got risks. Cataract surgery has risks, but they're so minimal that now we all feel very comfortable offering these intraocular surgeries on an elective basis. So that's lens stuff, that's cataract stuff, that's kind of the newer stuff I'm dealing with in my day-to-day realm. I want to shift gears here a little bit and talk about wrinkles. Not puppy wrinkles, old people wrinkles. So, what a lot of you don't know is I do cosmetic procedures as well. I've done them for 20 years. Ophthalmologists actually started using Botox in the 70s for people with facial spastic disorders. And then back in the 80s, some guy got the hot idea, hey, this cures wrinkles. Let's charge people for this and sell it to them. And it's very effective. And we do a lot of this where we can alleviate facial wrinkles that your muscles make. So Botox is botulism toxin. It's very safe. Nobody's ever had a sick or died from it. But it locally relaxes the muscles, and it's very effective, and it's to date the most common cosmetic procedure performed. So this lady doesn't look real, but this tube of goo right here, I actually have been using for 20 years. It's the same stuff pretty much that we use for cataract surgery, that we put that in the eye to create space so that we can work and get the lens out. And then they used to do collagen injections, but people had issues with that. So for about the last 15 years, I've been using these fillers in people to take away wrinkles, lips, face. Yes, I do a lot of stuff on the whole face, even though I'm not a doctor. The eye is connected to the eyelids. The eyelids are connected to the skin around the face. Those muscles are connected to this muscle, this muscle is connected. So we have to learn all the whole facial anatomy. So it's a very easy segue to go from eye musculature, eye stuff, to expand it to cosmetic stuff on the rest of the face. The eye is actually the hardest part. The rest of the face is easy. With fillers, what we're able to do, and this is actually a great slide, she's actually had a lot. So we mostly fill in the nasal labial fold. A lot of people do lips. We can elevate cheeks, and that's actually a great result right here, where we can get rid of some of this under eye stuff. 2 years ago, I got tired of people coming in going, what can you do for these bags under the eyes? Sorry, nothing. They're called festoons. So he's got a really good example. We've not had the technology really up until recently to do anything about that. And I started looking into microneedling, which some of you probably heard about, which causes your face to bring back its own natural collagen. And then this company came out and combined the microneedling with radio frequency, which is like kind of like electricity energy. And basically we do full face microneedling with this. It's called Morpheus. And we can now contract and tighten skin, which we've never had that ability to do before. So this is pretty fun technology, very effective. She's probably had 2 to 3 treatments. So you have to do a few of these. I don't know what the point of diminishing returns is yet. I mean, I've seen a few people back for their 3rd or 4th treatments, and it just seems to keep getting better. So, but you can get 20 to 30% of a facelift with this without going under the knife, basically, and it looks natural. That's pretty significant result. Kids, acne, 1 treatment, 1 week later. So it's got good medical uses as well. This is phenomenal. This lady had no neck lift, no knives, no cutting. She just probably had at least 3 to 4 Morpheus treatments. That's huge to actually tighten up that neck like that. She hasn't done the rest of her face though. If she did, this would look more natural. I mean, that should look. Normally, people come in and they do their face, they ignore their neck. She did the opposite. So. And then we have Face Tight and AccuTight, and with this technology, we actually go under the skin with a tiny little needle hole, and we directly inject the radio frequency energy in there, and you actually get some liposuction out of it. You melt some of the fat. And it does the same thing as the Morpheus, where it causes your body to recruit its own collagen, bringing back the structural framework of the skin in the face. And I'm going to end here with this slide. This is a great result. I hand people a mirror and I say, what's bothering you? And they all go, just want that little extra something, that little lift. And that's exactly what this provides. So this is a great result. She probably did her whole face here with Face Tight, got rid of these jowls. I mean, how old do you think she looks there versus here? I mean, I'd say that's 5 years? 10 consider. I mean, and this is realistic, and it's in the office, non-invasive. So that's what I've been dabbling with. I've done this. Obviously I'm busy with the eye stuff, and this has been kind of a side business, but I do this just because it's enjoyable and it breaks up the monotony of doing eyes all day, and it keeps the staff engaged, and it's fun for them. And this is starting to get busier and busier and busier. So that's our little cramped office. That's 48 hours ago I picked this guy up. So he's going to take some more of my time as well. Went down to Seymour, Indiana, and picked up Seymour. Get it? I think I can write that. So he's going to take up a lot of my time, and so is his brother. So I was talking to Rick earlier, and I've been kind of dealing with the compressed time schedule and everything else, and today's going to be my last word. Thank you. Any questions?
Give us some dollar ideas as far as what are you talking about for the various injections?
Good question. Totally depends. A typical Botox treatment will be $200-$300. You buy a vial of fillers about $450. A vial, so most people need 2 or 3. floaters. It's just junk floating around in your eye. It's condensed vitreous gel that solidifies over time. I spend half my day talking about it.
So will it go away? Will I get more of it?
It'll settle down to the bottom of your eye. I think your eyes will be like a snow globe, and it'll settle down to this. Yeah. No comment. You probably all have some. No.
The new lenses that you have, I had surgery 3-4 years ago, and the idea of those lenses is attractive to me, but what are we talking about as far as any medical prohibition about that kind of surgery that close together? And again, rough idea on dollars.
You talk about the new lens implants for cataract surgery?
Yeah.
So, for the multifocal implant, if you're piggybacking on your regular insurance, you're gonna pay about, with the newest one, about $2,400-2,500 out of pocket per eye for that upgraded implant. Some places you're paying $5,000 and $6,000. I mean, we're seeing numbers all over the board. Those
What
are
about
just-
Medicare?
This is over and above what Medicare pays. So what they do is they go, well, yeah, we'll pay for your cataract surgery. We have a qualifying cataract. We'll pay for the standard implant, but now we're gonna allow you to kind of give your menu options on these different implants, and we'll let you, and then they just have you pay that difference.
I'm sorry, but Medicare has already paid for my,
Cataract surgery?
yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna get implants up there. Once they're in, they're in. So, now, there is some pretty cool technology coming out that I can't wait for, which is a new laser that will, remember the slide with the little rings in the lens? On the current lens, you'll be able to put that pattern in 5 minutes in the office, amazingly. And like I don't know how long off this is gonna be, but this is gonna be the next big thing. And if you come in and you go, I don't like it, okay, reverse it. And you can go, there's no limit to how you can change this. This will be a game changer. I don't know when this is coming out, but my guess is at least 5 years away. But that's something that you would do. That's gonna be awesome. Can't wait for that. I have no idea when that's gonna come.
5 minutes.
Yeah, pretty awesome, yeah.
I couldn't hear his whole question, so if I'm repeating, forgive me.
Getting a lens implant already, wants to know if you can upgrade it to one of the multifocals.
So if you get an early cataract surgery elective, will it last forever, or do you have to get another one later?
These skeletons will have little plastic discs in their eye sockets. It lasts forever.
So you
It'll
can get
outlast
it
you.
early.
What?
So you can go ahead and get your early surgery and not worry it's gonna be redone.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, patients I did 20 years ago are still fine.
Okay, and how often does Botox have to be retreated?
I recommend every 3 months at the beginning. And then.
To do what?
Botox.
Botox.
Botox, sorry.
Oh.
How often you have to do it? Botox lasts about 3 months. Takes about a week to take effect.
No, y'all know I don't get it. That's why I wear a mask.
Yeah, I like fillers because it's instant. You can see it. It's more fun. But
Real quick, I don't know if this makes any sense, but I know that a lot of times organ donation, you can donate your eyes.
you can.
Would any of these procedures, like the new lenses, or
No.
affect
LASIK
that?
will still, I think. If you have LASIK, they won't.
Is that
stand for
right?
those. But I think they might have reversed that because you can transplant a LASIK cornea. There's no reason not to.
Okay.
Because now most of the corneal transplants are being done where they just take the inside layer off, and then they take your inside layer off and then just slide it in there. It's pretty elegant surgery. So there's no, that has opened up a lot more corneas for transplant availability, that new procedure, so.
Cool. Thanks.
But no lens implants, no. Yeah.
How did you decide to enter this particular field?
I had a lot of training in residency, a lot of oculoplastics training. I like doing blephs and lid lifts and all that. It's just fun. And that was actually the procedure that I was doing a rotation, and I saw the results of this blepharoplasty, and I just went, oh my God, the person looks 20 years younger in a week. Is amazing. So it just kind of got me interested in looking into it. And I've always just kept at it and kept doing it, and it just grows kind of on its own. It's a monster. And like I said, it's just something I do because I enjoy it. You know, we don't need to do it. But it cannibalizes a lot of my time now, and so I no longer have any free time. It's starting to eat up my Mondays, so that's why I'm gonna have to be in the Rotary, unfortunately. Yeah.
Male versus female, do you get many male patients doing some of this cosmetic stuff?
Certainly not as many, but yeah, we do. Works great. Really nice. I've had Morpheus done twice. When I saw this, I went, I want that. You know, I'm starting to get the Empire Strikes Back Emperor eyes down there, you know. So, but it took, I didn't notice much until about a month after my second procedure, where you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, yeah. And then you look at the pictures and you go, oh, wow, yeah. I mean, I'm late getting my third one. I want my third one, I just haven't had time, and I'm still seeing improvement, and it's been a year since my last treatment. So I'm pretty fun. I'm very happy with the technology.
Pain thresholds. How
Does it
much
hurt?
of these things hurt?
Sometimes. We give people Valium. We have topical numbing cream. Sometimes I'll do some local anesthetic for an eye block, and then we have laughing gas in the office, so which is great. Yeah. I just drank wine. But yeah, I mean, obviously people have different pain thresholds. So it's I found it, and I'm a wimp, somewhat uncomfortable. You know, after you're there for 45 minutes of being pounded in the face like this, it kind of gets you for a bit. But it's some people don't even use numbing stuff and they're fine with it, and some people don't hold it down. You'll stop and supplement with more local anesthesia. So try to avoid needles in the face. Okay.
Is there anything, what took her wrong? Like, I saw a picture of the press release, she looked so bad that it was disaster. Is there
Right.
any way that you can?
No, and that's what I love about these. These are really minimally invasive. You're not cutting and sewing, and you know what could go wrong. Well, if I overfill a lip with a little bit of filler, you know, it looks a little asymmetric from the other side. There's a stuff we can inject and melt it right up too. So.
I have seen some disaster-looking people.
Oh, just watch
They
Bosch.
look worse than.
Oh, there's horrible procedures being done out there, and they look terrible. But this is so fail-safe. I don't do it yet, but I get to a point where I can delegate it to a trained staff member. Some of this. Dabbled in some arms, some of the baby belly with phenomenal results. That I can delegate. It's like mowing the lawn. I mean, it's not. You're not going to hurt anybody. But just kind of for an hour. Well, around the face, I do all my anything requiring surgical or around the eyes. I wouldn't delegate that. But
The result is not what is done, but how it's done. People didn't know what they were doing because there are some.
you see a lot of horrible plastic surgery out there. Just watch any of those shows. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people who overdo stuff. A lot of people who overdo the lid lifts, my realm of things, causing people to have dry eyes and problems like that. Obviously, we see these crazy lizard faces. So the nice thing about these is you don't get that. I mean, it's not going to be overdone because you're not pulling and stretching and making it look artificial. It's your own body bringing back its own skin structural components that it loses over time. That's basically all. Any more questions? Finish early? Awesome, thanks.
Dr. Buck, we appreciate it very much, and as a token of our appreciation, we will donate a children's book to the Valparaiso Public Library in your name. Thank you. And thank you also for your 17 years in Valparaiso Rotary.
Thank you.
We wish you and your career well, and if you find time, come up to us.
I'd love to have a guest.
Absolutely. All right, so next week's program will be Leslie Plezak with the Sinai Forum. Does anyone anyone have any other comments or announcements? before we-
Forgot.
I would like to have our executive committee meet for just a few minutes at the table before we leave. But if everyone would stand and join me for the four-way test.
Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Have a great week.
And one thing, I want to catch a break.